beautiful audience, here you are.
Good wave.
So today I'm going to be informing you on the steps it will take to train a dog from puppy to adulthood. Now I think it's safe to say that everybody on the entire planet does enjoy being around a dog. They do create a very nice presence in the room, as well as act as a companion for anybody that is looking for that companionship. One thing to note is that dogs are very intelligent creatures. Whether you believe to agree with that or not is your own opinion, but science does back my point. One thing that does stand out when you need to train a dog is they are only as good as their trainers. So they can be trained, however, it does take proper training as well as various repetitive actions to train them the way you'd like. But in the end, I know it is very possible to gain the behavior that you would like out of your dog. Now, I do plan on discussing how to house train your animal, as well as teach your dog some very simple tricks like how to sit, stay, and be quiet, as well as teaching you how to build trust with your dog, which is probably a lot easier than you might think. So, step one, how to house train your dog. Now, I know firsthand from training a beautiful dog who is in the audience today, from the very young age of 6 weeks old, that your dog is not always going to want to go when you need her to go. So, one very basic step to follow is to take however many months old your dog is, and that is the amount of hours that you should take between potty breaks. So if your dog is only 1 month old, you should take them outside probably about once every hour. However, when they're 1 month old, they're probably still going to be with their mother. But once you get into that 2 months, 3 months, 4 months stage of their life, when they are probably going to be adopted or moving on with their life, that is when you're going to want to take them outside a little bit more frequently. So if the dog is 4 months old, you just take them outside every 4 hours. Now there are a couple of skews to that. If your dog is playing a lot and they are roughhousing or running around a lot, you are going to want to take them outside more frequently. All of that built up energy does make them want to go. Now, another thing that will encourage your dog to go outside as opposed to inside is to always reward them when you take them outside. Now, that doesn't mean they do have to go when you bring them outside, but you just want to make sure that they know that that is the place that they are supposed to go to the bathroom. They are not supposed to go inside the house. So if you condition them to believe that they are going to get a reward every time that they go outside, regardless if they go to the bathroom or not, then they will be more accustomed to going outside. Now, one thing that is a negative on the house training is punishment. One thing that dogs do not do well with, because of their sensitivities, is they do not react well to punishment. So one thing that you will want to avoid when training your dog on where to go to the bathroom is punishing your dog when they do go inside. Best step for that would be removing them from the situation and cleaning up the mess, just so that they don't see you cleaning up the mess. As long as they don't see you, there's no issue there. Next, we'll be discussing some simple tricks that you can teach to your dog. Now again, as with the house training, one thing that is very important is to do it repetitively. It needs to become a constant action that you do. Again, you'll want to be rewarding the dog every time they do the trick successfully. So the most simple one that I would encourage you to teach your dog is to sit. It's very straightforward. Dog sits in front of you, you reward them with a treat. And on the topic of treat, it is very important that you find what treats your dog prefers. They are not going to want to respond to anything that they don't want. So if your dog doesn't want to eat a leaf of lettuce, don't reward them with a leaf of lettuce. It's that simple. Now, when you are teaching a dog a trick, any trick for that matter, you'll want to make sure that the trick can be done without a treat before you stop giving them treats. So if the dog does not respond to you trying to teach them a trick, then you just have to keep at it until they do respond. They are creatures of habit, just like humans are. One thing that you can adjust a dog to is if the rewards do not work, you can buy a clicker. Dogs do respond very well to clickers. My personal vet, Dr. Glander, at the Kettle Moraine Vet Clinic does recommend that you use a clicker. It is a very simple device. States the name right in what it does. Now, how to build trust with your dog. One thing that is very important in building trust with your dog is to just be consistent with your animal. You don't ever want to be a different person. It's a lot like raising a human child. You don't want them to associate you with a different person every day. So, regardless if you were in a bad mood, or regardless if your boss came in and decided that today was the day that he was going to drop that 10,000 page report on you, you need to come home and just be that same person to your dog every single day. As I mentioned before, your dog is a creature of habit. They will feed off of your cues, your nonverbal cues, so your body language is very important when training a dog. One thing as well is to be assertive and not aggressive. If your dog is used to yelling, then they're going to associate you with fear because, as with humans, they don't like to be yelled at. So you'll want to work on being assertive as opposed to aggressive. Again, they just don't like to be yelled at, as do we. The final step in building trust with your dog is to simply spend time around your animal. They are very loving creatures, so they want to develop a consistent schedule with you. One article that I found on chasingdogtails.com states that dogs do crave consistency in a schedule. So if you take them for a walk in the morning, they want to be taken for a walk every morning. If you take them for a walk at night, they want to be taken for a walk at night. If they have the same bathroom schedule, they want to keep that same bathroom schedule. Same with eating, same with drinking water. They want that consistency in their life just as we do as humans. Now, in summary, it is not very difficult to raise a dog necessarily. The steps are pretty straightforward, but it requires a lot of patience and a lot of work, as anybody who has had to raise a dog will tell you. These steps obviously are not foolproof. There will be days that you come home, you'll be in a great mood, and you'll see that your dog tore up your favorite t-shirt. But again, that goes back to the consistency and the assertiveness. You want to remove the dog from the situation and just get rid of the t-shirt. It doesn't have to be anything more than that. Obviously, your dog will learn that is not okay. You need to make sure that they know that that's not okay. That doesn't mean you get right in their face and start screaming at them, because all that will do is make them mad and they will try and go get into something else as a plot of revenge. And as I mentioned, although some days may be better than others, it is very safe to say that you will love your animal no matter what, because look how cute they are. It's hard to resist them. So do you have any questions for me at all?